bringing their clinical structure, while the South are certainly bringing their brutal power and pace. It's a collision of rugby cultures, certainly running at 200 kilometers an hour. It is simply unbelievable. From the very first whistle this morning, it certainly is clicked into the red.
So the question now remains, will it be the North or the South that prevails? And we begin South Africa's chapter here at the Mecca of rugby lovers, none other than Ellis Park here in Johannesburg. It is the spiritual home of South African rugby and the perfect place for chapter 48 between South Africa and England to be written. This is the Nations Cup.
For generations, they ruled their side of the world. North, South. Different worlds, different styles, different cultures. Now, the divide disappears. The collision begins. 12 nations, one seismic competition where hemispheres collide. The Nations Championship 2026, only on the World of Champions. Because this is how we rugby. Proudly sponsored by Pick n Pay, Coca-Cola, and FNB.
12 nations, 2 hemispheres, only one champion can be elected in 2026. Welcome to Nations Cup, the inaugural one and the one that puts the North up against the South. It's all been talk for many, many years, but this is the competition, this is the structure that'll finally show us who's who in the zoo. This is chapter 48 of South Africa up against England. We're so excited to see it, and so is this crowd that are making their way through on a very chilly Johannesburg afternoon. Temperature set to drop even more a little bit later. It's only the rugby that will be keeping us nice and warm. Good afternoon to you. Don't forget to use that hashtag #SSRugby. Got a star-studded team joining me to take you through proceedings for this afternoon. And let me introduce them. Former England wing superstar, utility back, and a lover of cream and white, just like Mott, Anthony Watson. And also world champion in 2007 with the Boks, Skalberger. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Looking forward to this one. Anthony, for you, what do you want to see from England this afternoon?
Yeah, I think it's a massive game for England. There's no two ways about that. I think after the disappointing Six Nations, I think England will really look to take the impetus that they got from their last game against France and put their best foot forward. You know, obviously there's a lot of rumours and stuff about Steve and the pressure, but you know, there's no better pressure test than being out here in South Africa playing at altitude at Ellis Park. So it'll be a great test for England. There's no two ways about that.
Yeah, big test coming up for them. Skulk, for you, what are your fondest memories here at Ellis Park?
Let's cover first things first. Why was I left out of the cream brief here? Like, obviously I missed out on, I'm not on Instagram or anything. Like, there's a couple of DMs gone missing in my inbox.
It's a socials, it's a social.
What a venue.
Yeah.
And like, welcome to Ellis Park. I know you traveled with Alliance, you know, with that COVID. This is got to be a reasonably full Ellis Park. Not packed by all means, but there's got to be a great crowd in there. Perfect rugby where there's always at the Highveld. Big game for England. A lot of pressure after their worst ever Six Nations. Borthwick and his coaching staff's under pressure. They know that they come up against the Springboks side, and we'll go through it in a little bit, but there's quite a lot of changes, injury-enforced changes. It's almost like we had to learn a whole new team sheet. All your crypt notes are gone. Players you wanted to talk about or mention, they are not there. So too, you know, no Furbank playing for England. For the Boks, I think traditionally quite slow starters. Think of Italy last year, those 2 test matches. Wasn't all plain sailing. So I think this is going to be a big test for the Boks. Great side still, even though there's been injury-enforced changes.
Yeah, lots of changes. We'll be speaking through that and just how the Springboks will be lining up in their starting 15. You did not get the pleasure to play here at Ellis Park, but you did run out at Loftus Versfeld, and you were telling us as we were preparing that it burns the lungs. Tough outing here at the Highveld.
Oh, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. I think no matter how hard you train or how much you try and get used to it, the intensity of Test match rugby at altitude hits you, you know, like a ton of bricks. I remember feeling like I was breathing out of 2 Capri Suns. That was that bad, the altitude. But I know that the performance staff at England will have done absolutely everything they can to prepare them. And one thing that England will pride themselves on today will be their conditioning and trying to mix it and trying to be there for the full 80 minutes. So it'll be a challenge, but I think that they'll be ready for it.
Yeah, and not just for the visiting teams that come here, Scala, even for our local players, coming up to the Highveld is always tough.
like we've got a lot of players based abroad now. They're not all based up here. So I think even for them it's a bit of a challenge. I mean, we always say it's a bit of a fortress. And then, cast our minds back 12 months ago against Australia. Probably 20 minutes of the most amazing rugby, going 20 points up and then 48 unanswered points post that. And was down to poor game management. And that's going to be the key for England. You want to take opportunities. You don't want to kick too early in the set. Kicking game is imperative up here because as soon as you start overplaying deep in your own half, one turnover, England's vulnerable there anyway. One turnover, the Boks will run in a 40 or 60 meter try against you. So that game management by the game managers, 9, 10, 15, and there's a change at 15. Marcus Smith is going to start this game for England at fullback. Pick Anthony's brain a little bit later about the backfield. At altitude, the game just moves faster. Yeah. It's a fast-forward game. And I can't wait for this. The appetizing games that we saw this morning, France versus the All Blacks.
Yeah, let's talk about this morning. Yeah.
Then also you go across the pond to Sydney, Ireland, Australia with a kick by Donaldson to win a tough kick, by the way, falling just short. How exciting was that?
This was a great start to the Dave Rennie era for the All Blacks. A victory against France, but a French team that just never went away.
No, they won't do that, the French. I think the style of play that the French adopt mean that they're always thereabouts in games. They play a very, not loose, I think it's structured, but in a French way. They love offloading, they like keeping the ball alive, and so they're never going to get blown away, in my opinion, especially with the quality that they've got as well. For me, Matthew Jalibert at 10 is up there with the best 10s in the world, and it's very rare you see a fly half taking a crash ball 5 meters out and scoring, and that was to put them within 2 points and kind of almost get the game done. But I think New Zealand under Dave Rennie, they look a little bit more cohesive than they previously had, and putting 34 points on France is a good showing.
It definitely is a good showing. For me, Skalk, it was still a discipline. It was also about the discipline for the keeping back in. How do they polish that up ahead of not only this competition but greatest rivalry as well?
I think it's sort of been a theme in their rugby over the past few seasons where they sort of overstep that mark. They go man down. I think for us as South Africans, the greatest rugby rivalry is coming to South Africa a little bit later. The key thing is 9-10 combo. Roygaard, obviously Ruben Love. We didn't see him getting selected at 10. He's got something special on attack. And then we've got to look at Jalibert, like the way he plays. He pretty much, in the Champions Cup, led every single metric on attack, whether that's ball carrying, offloads, try assist, kicking meters. One hell of a player.
Australia up against Ireland. There was also another mouth-watering one this morning.
I know, it's a good omen for us later on, isn't it? Yeah, look, I think Australia probably haven't had the best, recent form, especially, think about the Lions tour last year. But I think that their attack looked world-class. Some of their phase play attack looked really special. And I think, again, it bodes well for the rest of this campaign. Obviously, they'll be frustrated to have not been able to get the job done at home in a sellout crowd in front of the Allianz. But they're moving in the right direction, which I think is very important ahead of a home World Cup next year.
And that, I think, is the big story of the day. Seeing more people come out to enjoy the Wallabies and their rugby so that we can see more of the locals at that World Cup next year.
Well, it's a big year for them. It's a building year. You don't want to start building in a World Cup year, even if you've got young players to expose. You want to get them to a World Cup with a set amount of test matches under their belt. Impressive thing with this morning, and I know the Irish scrum is under scrutiny of late, is how dominant Australia were at scrum time. They've got some exceptional and fast outside backs. And like last year, they showed off their skill set against the Boks. That 48 unanswered points at Ellis Park right here, which we never saw coming. I think on the Irish side, we look at it, we're still looking, who's their number 10? Gibson Park's such a lovely play. He creates so much tempo on the ball, makes the right decision more often than not. And they're still trying to replace like a Sexton. Someone else has got to step up. And sometimes, often, you find that play by not looking for someone in the similar vein. You're looking for something opposite. And unfortunately, I don't think at the moment they're quite settled at fly half, which is so important if you want to play their high-tempo rugby game.
Yeah, round one, done and dusted. Hopefully, we'll be able to see more of the brilliance of the Wallabies as the competition unfolds. But Ireland, of course, vintage, always world-class. These are the results so far, and a victory for Japan as well against against Italy a little bit earlier on. We're keeping our eye on what's happening between on the Fiji match as well. 10 all so far against Wales at halftime, and later on Argentina taking on Scotland. That's going to be at just after 9 o'clock South African time. But I told you, I've got a star-studded team here. Ricky is out with the fans outside. What's it like being back at Ellis Park, Rix?
The spiritual home of Bok Rugby. It is absolutely buzzing at the moment. Now, I know we're going to Victor and Brady very soon for some tactical analysis and insight, but I've got my own panel right here. Gentlemen, how do we approach today from a tactical point of view to defeat the English?
Ricky, I think we're going to press them the first couple of 40 minutes. We're going to push them hard. You know what they say, slow poison. And I think the last 20 minutes, that wall's going to crack and we're going to put up a big score.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Henry Pollock, a lot has been said about him. How do we neutralize him?
Only one word or one person, Peter Steve the toy. You just give him to Peter Steve and he'll sort it out.
Oh,
I think that's the answer to Henry Pollock.
yes, I love it. A message to Cheslin Colby and Damien Willems are playing their 50th today.
Cheslin is going to dominate this match. He's going to play his ultimate best game because you know this is his 50th match. He must have a good one and a big one today.
Lovely. You want to say something to the Springboks?
Well done, Damien. Well done, Cheslin. Julle moet 'n lekker game hê. Skoppie Engels is gat.
Absolutely. Love that. With the geestes here. Victor, Brady, we want your insight.
Thank you, Ricky. Certainly. I mean, I like what a gentleman said in Afrikaans. But Victor, a lot happened before the game. All of a sudden, you know, we have some setbacks in the Bok team. Sia, unfortunately, Yeben out. But unbelievable Peter Step the toy, the go-to man, the heart man for the Boks. What do you make of that?
Yeah, what an unbelievable player. I mean, World Player of the Year twice in the last 4 years. He's just a guy that leads from the front. He gets opportunity to carry that captaincy with him today. But I mean, he's going to have a big impact. It's going to be a little bit different. He probably needs to play to the ball a little bit more, not out in the on the edges where he carries so well at the moment. But yeah, what a man to step up. I mean, it's a big loss. Sia Kulisi, Eben Etzebeth, your most cat players not there. But a guy like Peter Stef du Toit is the right man to step up.
One thing we know, when Peter Stef du Toit talks, people listen. But Victor, you know, around here, it's not too chilly yet. We probably might need beanies and jackets later on. But pitchside, it's beautiful at the moment. No wind, obviously no rain, but it can get chilly later on in the evening.
Yeah, it will definitely get a bit more chilly. It was a fantastic day. When we walked out here earlier, just perfect. Now it's getting a little bit colder, but I mean, the conditions are perfect. And if you look at the two teams, I think we're going to see nice rugby tonight. I think they're going to keep ball in hand, they're going to throw it around, and with the 2 10s in both sides, it's going to be a fantastic game.
I'm certainly looking forward to that, Victor. I mean, we're in for a jam-packed day, but we're all looking forward to this first battle with the Boks. I tell you what, the geest is building up. Everybody's getting excited. Me and Victor certainly getting excited, but we're also in the zone, but we're joining another zone. Cooks and the team are also here to talk to us.
Brady, I mean, it's cold here, but it's warm, but we're in the cold. I'm in the mix, can even feel the grass here. I mean, that's how amped we are here. I'm joined by a steam company. I've got 3 World Cups in between all of us. I'm counting myself in that. Stephen Kitsov, Sean de Villiers. Kitsy, we heard Brady talking about the changes, especially with Sia and Yeben out. How's that going to affect the Boks line-out time and obviously scrum time?
Yeah, first of all, Cooks, it's absolutely amazing to be out here. I think it's going to be an absolutely unbelievable game. I think with Sia out and Peter Stef at 4 lock, it might be a little bit of an issue at scrum time. I'm sure they're going to figure that out quite quickly. I hope Peter Stef backed in his 8 start so he can knuckle down in the scrums. But I think when it comes to those subs, we got Paul de Villiers coming in the 6th flank replacing Sia, which is going to be a very interesting battle when it comes to the loose forward battle. So it's going to be unbelievable energy, work rate, and just looking forward to those battles.
John, Marcus Smith goes to 15. Does the kicking plan change for the Boks? Obviously, Marcus Smith a little bit shorter, I mean, but just a little bit taller than Kitsy, though, but a bit shorter. Does the plan change kicking-wise, or do you think the Boks stick the same?
Yeah, look, I don't think much will change from an England point of view. I think the opportunity from a South African point of view probably will be better. Marcus Smith is more inclined to run the ball back. We'll probably probably see a long kicking game here at the Highveld where the ball travels a little bit further. Yes, there will be contesting as well, but I think the long kicking game will play a big part in this. And by doing that, and if Marcus Smith runs back, I think opportunities can be created for South Africa with a good defensive chase, kick chase, put them under pressure, get the turnovers, and that creates opportunities again. So I think the dynamics of both these teams changes a little bit. Certainly from the name of Pieter-Steph du Toit has been mentioned a lot. He always gives 100%, but this time around it's captaincy as well, it's line-out work as well, so there's a big load on him today, so that needs to be shared by a lot of guys. And I think the midfield will be critical for South Africa as well, with Damien Delende and Jesse Kriel taking a lot more responsibility as well.
I think, especially with Smith coming in at fullback, there's going to be a lot of attacking options, as John rightfully said. So the Springbok defensive structure, the line speed is going to be crucial to keep them on the back foot and not give them those go-forward balls to get their loose forwards in the game. So, as John rightfully said, there's a big opportunity, especially when it comes to kicking game, but there's also on the opposite side, there's going to be a bit of a ding-dong battle when it comes to defensively trying to knock them back.
We're looking forward to that. My biggest mission now is keeping Kitty away from Henry Pollock down here with the English warm-up behind us. But what's back to you guys upstairs?
Well, you heard from the fans. They said, give the job to Pieter-Steph du Toit. Nobody else needs to touch him. So, Stephen, stand down. I know you were bantering with Anthony a little bit earlier about it as well. Just the bigness of Henry Pollock, a very young man, but so easy to get under people's skins. He's got under everybody's skin, it seems.
Yeah, he does. He does. I think he may have been told to taper that down a little bit today, but it makes him who he is. To be honest with you, I think from an English perspective, I think he's good for the game in a way, because he gets people watching it. Whether you like him, you don't like him, you tune in to watch Henry Pollock. But like I said, I think that with playing in South Africa, I think he might want to dial it down a little bit today.
Yeah? I don't think he should, Scala. Whoever got under your skin, Skalkberg?
There was plenty, to be honest. Look, if I played against Henry Pollock, probably wouldn't finish the game. I would have been solely focused on it. Would have been my proudest moment. It would have been my great game, but I would have been chasing him around. Look, there's enough people in this crowd to have a little go at him, like the warm-up affair, but he's one heck of a player. And I actually really enjoyed the playoffs and the Premiership and the final, tuned in for all of those. Used to play there a little bit, so I take a keen interest. The quality of those games were amazing. It's a little bit different than what you would expect from a test match game. Today, the Boks will put them under a lot of physical pressure up front. You think scrums, you think mauls, you think lineouts, especially breakdown. The two players that's come in place, at loose forwards, Paul de Villiers is exceptional at the breakdown, so too Cameron Honeycomb. So we're not losing anything from a breakdown perspective. Henry Pollock is going to play a big role later in this game. If you want to chase a game down, he's an X-factor. And you take on top of that Guy Pepper, haven't really settled on their loose forwards, but like the balance of the English loose forwards more now than I used to in the past under Borthwick. So some proper players there. Ben will lead the carry count by a mile. He loves carrying and he carries deep. He's a great ball player. Tom Curry, ironically, one of the few players who played here in 2018.
Yeah, in 2018, yes.
Actually made his first start, I think, in Cape Town. Got a man of the match, different conditions to what you will get today at the Highveld. And Ollie Chisholm gives them a lovely line-out option. It was super impressive in that game against France. I think he's intercepting a 55-meter run, and great player.
I want to delve deeper a little later on about all the big moments that are about to happen today, but your experience of playing under Steve Borthwick, Anthony, what kind of coach is he?
Steve is one of the most diligent coaches that I've ever worked with. He brought me from Bath to Leicester, and I remember when I first joined the club, he came up to me and he said that he'd watched every single one of my carries for the last 5 years. So that must have taken him a decent amount of time, and he had a tip for me based on those clips. So I think from a player's perspective, when you have a coach who is that obsessed with the game, you have to follow suit. You have to be due diligent as well. You have to, watch your game back, be aware of where you need to grow. And that's the other thing with Steve, is he's never content. He's very focused on seeing how far he can possibly take things. And that rubs off on players. Players want to play for someone who doesn't feel like you've made it. You always want to be looking to the next thing, and Steve is like that. So for me, he was very inspirational for the way he went about his business. And like I said, that rubbed off on me massively.
Yeah, a coach under pressure at the moment, but is this the game where things turn around for him? Competition time. Would love for you to get involved in the game as well. Head over to supersport.com and you can vote for the biggest tackle after every single Springbok match. This is your chance. It's the big eat. Who's going to get eaten in the tackles today? That is the question. SuperSport.com, and this will be with every single Springbok game. When we return, we're looking at all of the analysis, all of the changes that have been made, and of course, the big moment for Cheson Colby and Damian Willemse, who notch up a half century tonight. That and more coming up.
26 away.
This is Wimbledon.
Proudly served up by Spa.
The world's biggest sporting stories unfold on SuperSport this July. The Tour de France serves up 3 weeks of torment and triumph.
It smashes the time.
Only on your World of Champions. The world's biggest sporting stories unfold on SuperSport this July as the Boks return for a blockbuster Nations Championship.
Springboks cross again.
The Tour de France serves up 3 weeks of torment and triumph.
The yellow jersey smashes the time.
Tennis royalty descends on centre court.
He conquers and becomes a Wimbledon champion.
Golf's oldest major delivers 4 days of drama.
An eagle. Smile of the day.
And after a month of unforgettable football, one nation etches its name into history.
Champions of the world!
All this and so much more this July on your World of Champions.
At International Fight Week, the biggest superstar in mixed martial arts history returns against Max Holloway.
That fight has been a long time coming.
We're fighting against unfinished business.
This is for my fans and the country of Ireland.
For the Irish people.
If one of us go to war, we all go to war.
Get away. Let's go. I'm back and I'm ready. Etch my name in history one more time.
You do not want to miss UFC 329, McGregor vs. Holloway 2 on the 12th of July. Broadcast proudly sponsored by World Sports Betting. Bet with the best.
Who is getting into the hot seat now?
SuperSport's presenting crew is dialed all the way up for the FIFA World Cup 26. In the studio and pitchside, we're locked in for the biggest show on earth, making sure you stay up to date because everything can wait. Catch it all on SuperSport on DSTV. England arrive at Ellis Park under a cloud. The Roses had struggled for consistency while building towards the World Cup, but seemed to have cracked the code during November's Quilter Nations series. It started with a bang.
November launched for Steve Borthwick's man.
Australia and then Fiji put in the shade as the Roses bloomed. 2 from 2 and the All Blacks lying in wait.
Open the history books. Get this result in it. They don't do it often, but England have just beaten New Zealand.
Beating New Zealand was a statement. England had arrived as genuine challengers. In the new year, the Six Nations was their chance to prove they were the real deal. Wales were thrashed in round 1. Then they were north to Murrayfield.
England have fallen at the second hurdle. Their dreams of a Grand Slam have turned to dust.
The stumble against the Scots saw English hopes quickly unravel.
England's performance today at times has been absolutely desperate.
Italy have ransacked England for the first time in their history.
France champions again. England in despair. They played their part, but that for England, their 4th defeat from 5.
Le Crunch sealed it. 5th place. After their initial optimism, this was England's worst Six Nations finish in 25 years. Now, questions outweigh the answers, and there's no tougher place to find them than Ellis Park. However, beat the Bucks in their own fortress, and their Six Nations misery will be swiftly forgotten.
It's been a tough lineup, hasn't it been, for England coming into this Nations Championship. One of their worst Six Nations in history after 11-match winning streak in 2025. But these are the men charged with turning that around. This is the arrival here at Ellis Park. You know, cool, calm, quiet and collected. What will they be able to bring onto the field against the world champions? A team under pressure, a coach under pressure, but quality all around. That may just spark a difference and maybe a change in the English fortunes this afternoon. England here for the weather, Boks here for the win. That's a chat from the fans. What is your chat? Hashtag SS Rugby. Let us know your thoughts. You know, as we were watching that montage, Anthony's like, I see you stirring, I see you stirring. But it really is tough as an England fan because you watch that 2025, the brilliance, the charm, the drama that they were able to bring on the field. Why did it fall so flat in Six Nations?
I think from a personal opinion, I think general opinion around the Six Nations, I think the frustration was mostly around the playing style, if I'm honest. I think the games that we lost, you know, I look at the Ireland game, I look at the Scotland game away, there wasn't a great ambition or attacking mindset in the way that we're playing, and that completely changed against France. The last game, I know that there wasn't anything to play for with regards to the Six Nations, but I think that really set the barometer for where this England team can go. And they took a France team that are world-class all the way, and obviously, you know, Thomas Ramos slotted that kick at the end to win it. So I think that going into today, I'm hoping that they're going to channel a lot from that France game, because like I said, that was a real showing from England on what they can do. And one thing in particular from that game that I think is going to be massively important today was the amount that the backs carried the ball. You know, if I look at the previous games, I think that the forwards did probably 70–80% of the work, whereas against France there was a good variation in the way that we played. Yes, there was obviously that kicking game, but the backs carried the ball a lot, which takes a lot of weight off the forwards. You know, you can't expect them to do all of the work. And so I think going today, we want to see the backs. We want to see the guys like Manife, Roboso, Tommy Freeman, ball in hand and taking South Africa on where they can. So I think that will be a really, really important. But with regards to the Six Nations, I'm looking at the France game. I'm forgetting everything that happened before that, and I'm hoping that can be what they channel going into today.
And the France game was absolutely world-class. The best we've seen of England in this 2026. What should they bring from that game into this one against South Africa?
It was epic, but the backs were against the wall. You know, like a bit of time has been taken out of 2025. Who would like to be a coach, by the way? 2025, most successful team in the world, 11 out of 12 wins. Next best was the Boks. Then they go worst ever Six Nations performance. They come to South Africa against world champs at Ellis Park at the Highveld. It's got to be a high tempo ball. So you'll have to play rugby. You have to chance your arm. Areas where I think they got caught short as well is their defence was nothing more than average in the Six Nations, and also game discipline. Hardly ever finished the game without getting someone binned. And then within that, turnovers was massive. So today, doesn't matter how long you hold on to the ball, doesn't matter how good you're contestable, because they kick a lot of 9 through Van Portlik. As soon as you start making turnovers, you're in trouble, because you leave yourself open for the transition play up here, whether that's through the boot or whether that's through a couple of 2 passes. You think Damien Willems, Kirtley Arons, Cheslin Colby off turnover ball, it's lethal. So they'll have to have some proper ball security to put the Boks under pressure today.
Yeah, look, we're going to talk a little bit more just about how England will be lining up. I want to go downstairs to Breton Polser and Victor Matfield as they look tactically at this team. You know, Anthony has spoken about how they need to get the ball to the backs, make it a little bit more expansive. Will that work this afternoon, Brace?
Yeah, thank you. What's some wonderful insights from the lads upstairs. But Victor Matfield, what a man to have. We want to focus on the English line-out. I mean, they are certainly really, really, really good. But they also worked, you know, the last couple of months and years with their coach Borthwick, because it's something that the Boks will certainly try and disrupt them. Victor, let's get into it and let's look at the England lineouts?
Yes, we know Maro Toji is not here, so some of the other guys will need to step up. But to talk about the set piece, the rolling maul is going to be so important tonight. Of course, there has been a law change. What we see now, if we pause here, righty, these guys on the sides not allowed to be there anymore.
Yes.
They've changed it. It's a pushing battle. Once you get those guys away, we saw it this morning with the All Blacks scoring the try. These guys aren't there. Now there's space around. Once you get the go forward, there's opportunities. This three needs to be out of there now. Now that creates opportunities to play from this driving maul. So the maul is going to be so important. And we saw England didn't have the best Six Nations. Then they came back against France. They used the maul. Look at it. They went to it the whole time. And they're powerful. And I think with the new law as well, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for them to play with that as well.
One thing that struck me, they actually worked a lot on the maul, and also sometimes they get the backs involved as well to make it obviously more brutal and more powerful.
Yeah, once they get into the 22, they get that go forward. They want everyone in there. They want to use every little bit of energy that they've got to get over that line. So for us, we'll probably need to stop it at source. We don't want them to set that. Once that maul is set, it's very difficult to stop. And now, after this, with the law change, they can play off that and they get penalties. They get another opportunity.
Yeah, but Victor, they also have variation at the lineup, and that's something that, especially against a box team who are really, really good, you need to have that kind of variation.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have Eben Etzebeth, one of the best when it comes to defensive lineout. He gets up in the air, he gets up very high. Peter Steph can do it. But it's going to be important for us to put them under pressure, to get them to throw the ball to where we want them. We don't want them to get that back ball, because when they get the back ball, the maul is easier to set. They've got both sides to attack from as well. So it's very important for us, force them into that front ball. Let's use our power. Let's get them all not to set, and then we're in control.
Henry Pollock also adding a bit of beef there, Victor. What is his role there at the maul?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting tonight. It's actually a pity we can't get Dwayne from here and not from the side. I think he wanted to get stuck into him. But I mean, we've got some powerful guys. The breakdown is going to be so important. I mean, if you look at our loose share, all three of them play to the ball. In the English side, they probably only have Tom Curry. But all our three loose forwards, and of course, Malcolm Marx.
And just finally, a man that's going to be really important is Finn Smith. The number 10 for England, he's going to be crucial tonight. I mean, he's playing against Mani Labok, but a guy who's become physical, he's become so tactical, Victor, but also a man who's got rugby intelligence.
Yeah, Brighty, he takes the ball to the line. I mean, in this last few games with Northampton Saints, he's just been unbelievable, controlling that whole back line, seeing the space, getting the ball to space. So he's going to be very important for them. The one thing, he's a small guy. He needs to defend as well. I mean, if you've got Damian Dalende running at you, and maybe later Andre Estres, and we don't know if he's playing loose forward or centre today, he's going to be very important for them in defence as well.
Yeah, but I mean, look at him. You know, he's not scared of the physical stuff, and that is what you want. But I like the way, you know, he controls games as well. He can attack, he can kick well, and his tactical kicking ability really can put England on the front foot, right?
Yeah, the one thing, he takes the ball to the line, right? He's a threat himself, so you need to look at him. That creates opportunities for the guys around him, and he's got a very, very good attacking kicking game as well.
I mean, look here at the vision of Finn Smith. Absolutely, you know, seeing the space, Victor, and attacking the space with his boot, the foot pass. We've seen a lot of that in recent times. So Finn Smith, for me, together with guys like Freeman, really important for that go forward, you know. But he gets involved. He gets stuck in, not scared of it.
No, he's definitely not scared. And I mean, he will miss Furbank with Northampton Saints. They've got a nice connection. But I know Marcus Smith at the back, he wants ball in hand. He wants to attack as well.
Well, we can talk forever about players and the tactical analysis, but Cooks is ready and waiting for us. What you got, Cooks?
Right here, I'm still here with Kitsi and JDV, and I got the English side warming up right behind us, and they're looking sharp, they're looking good, but Kitsi, massive test for the pack, for the English pack. I mean, they've gone with Chesham, got Coles in there, and they've got Martin in there, so they've gone for hard, quite a big pack to try to target the Springboks.
Yeah, I think, and England historically have, throughout the Six Nations, had an unbelievable scrum. So with Genge, George and Hayes there, I think they're probably going to come out firing, going to try and test the box at scrum time, especially with Eben not being there. It's going to be a big battle. So I think it's probably going to be the one area that they're going to think they're going to get an opportunity to go for the box. Of course, test matches doesn't get won by good scrums, but it definitely gets lost. So So yeah, I think that's going to be a big moment for them. If they can get a bit of a ascendancy when it comes to scrum time, I think England's got a foothold in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I can't agree with that more. I think I don't often see, well, we don't often see a Springbok scrum going backwards and opposing team getting the upper hand. So if that happens, that'll be warning signs from a South African point of view. What interests me, though, now currently with the change in personnel is suddenly the breakdown battle. Because with a Ben Earl there, with Chesham there, with Curry there, they're extremely strong on the ground. Funnily enough, now with Cameron Honeycomb and Paul de Villiers coming into this loose forward combination, I think we're far stronger from a breakdown point of view. We'll certainly be contesting a hell of a lot more there. I don't doubt the fact that England will definitely be attacking the outside channels more, and maybe with the compilation of the team now, the opportunity for us to get those turnovers and to create those situations that Scott spoke about might just be more. So there are some funny intricacies that now suddenly we see with the changes that we've seen on both sides.
I would love to latch on to what John says there, especially with Earl and with Chesham. They're two great ball carrying threats, and then Paula coming on in the second half, which also a big threat when it comes to ball in hand. So our loose forward, especially the Springbok loose forward, has got a big job to stop those guys, as you rightfully said, attacking the breakdown, making it slow, making it uncomfortable for them. Not getting Ben Earl and those guys hands on ball into space, that's going to be a big challenge for the Boks today at Ellis Park.
I mean, we do not want to bore the viewers with too much forward talk. So what I will say as well, Tommy Freeman from an England point of view, he's a fantastic player. He's a prolific try scorer. There's one of them sitting up there, part of our crowd today as well, in Anthony Watson. But Tommy Freeman, I think, is the key player from an England point of view to be the spark from an attacking point of view to get tries being scored. If South Africa can nullify him, if South Africa can get the upper hand from a defensive point of view, close up the opportunities on the outside, then suddenly, the benefit and the advantage sits with us. But Tommy Freeman, special player, at 13, I actually prefer him there to being on the wing.
And John, lastly, I mean, you also got Seb Atkinson. It's a massive test for him at 12, going up against Damian Delendi. Do you think that combination's got enough to hurt Damian and Jesse, who played together for a very long time?
Well, we don't know. We don't know because we haven't seen enough of that. So you come up against Damian Delendi and Jesse Creel, arguably the best centre combination in world rugby, and it's a test. That's why it's called test match rugby, because Seb Atkinson comes in, he's got the opportunity to play against Damian Delendi, to test himself against him and to see how he goes. So that is what you want. Flip it over to South Africa, Paul de Villiers, Cameron Honeycomb, exact same thing, and that is what you want. That is what you want today. That is what we want, North versus South. That is what we want, South Africa versus England.
I'm as pumped
yes.
as John is, Motsi. I mean, the guys are pumped. As John is looking to come out of retirement, that's how pumped up he is. But back to you guys upstairs.
Jean is about to get Anthony out of retirement. The way he's looking at Tommy Freeman, he's like, give me the ball, mate, give me the ball. But a quality man, a great try, a prolific try scorer as well in the Premiership. Congratulations to him for getting to a record 18 tries. All right, we are speaking all things Springboks. Now we're turning our attention. England under pressure, South Africa with their first of 2026. Usually a slow start, but what will they be able to cook up in this game against the Roses?
The English have been asking for this. They have been writing about this, and the world champions have been patiently waiting for this. Finally, the time for talk from north to south is over. Last time the men in white were here, history was made. It's time to do it all again. Some players have moved on. Some coaches are no longer here. A new competition is here for the taking. But this fixture doesn't need anything else on the line. It's personal. It's the Springboks against England.
Oh, match that these two nations know how to stand up for. This is the Springboks making their way in the beginning of their Nations Championship. A match against the Barbarians that they played just to get the cobwebs off, and what a performance that was as well. They won't be happy with maybe the defensive side of that performance, but we'll get into that in just a moment. The man of the moment, Siya Kolisi, leading the charge as well. A few changes that unfortunately have had to be made to the starting 15 with some late injury calls. We'll get into that in just a moment. A player, the world player of the year as well, Malcolm Marx leading them, and the man that's about to notch up 50 tests this afternoon, Cheslin Colby, also part of that contingent. And what a star-studded team that it is up against England today. A big preparation going into any Springbok week. I think tougher, a lot tougher this week as well, as they try to get this competition off to the right start. And Skulk will tell you that a test week in the Springbok camp and the preparation that is involved, absolutely brutal.
I don't actually ever recognize where they're at. What do you call that place? Is that what they call the gym? I was never there. I was having a cup of coffee on the side. So from a gym perspective, it wasn't tough. I think the big thing about all these games is preparation beats pressure. You want to be so well prepared that you come to the rugby field, you come to Ellis Park, and instinct takes over. You want to play on instinct. And we take it back, and I'm sorry that I harp on this, but like game management last year was poor from Mani Lebok at number 10 especially, but also we love to kick through number 9. So contestable, having that balance by being brutally physical, playing with high tempo, putting England's side under pressure, because defensively they're quite soft. They don't quite have the rush that the Springboks have, and that's going to put us under pressure. Finn Smith's got a great kicking game. Backfield, we can't pick a better back three to cover the backfield, but the way we defend, we take high risk, we're up and close and narrow. You look for the English wingers to call that cross kick quite early and create that space. But a build-up week, you know, you get disrupted, but like surely there's enough time and the system's been put in place for the new players to take that opportunity. Yes, you've lost your captain in Siya Kolisi and Eben Etzebeth, who plays a massive role within this South African team, but it gives a great opportunity for the new players to step up. Pieter-Steph du Toit, as we get older, our numbers need to get bigger. It doesn't need to get smaller. He's got to strap his ears up and he's got to play 4 lock this afternoon.
Let's talk about those changes. You know, Pieter-Steph moving into the lock position. Cameron Hanekom will be on our blind side in the number 7. And then we have Paul de Villiers coming in for captain Siya Kolisi, BJ Dixon on the bench. Those changes for you, do they make it tougher going up against the more settled loose trio of England?
Well, if you Paul de Villiers, you probably think you would have had a chance somewhere this year. Siya's getting a little bit on. He's your captain, and you think Paul de Villiers has got a role to play next year in the Rugby World Cup. You get fast-struck, you get a start, maybe unexpected, it doesn't matter. You've got to come out here and do what you've done this whole season. And he's been exceptional on the ground. He's also got a lovely subtlety when he does carry. He's only a small man, like a traditional open-sider, something that we as South Africans hasn't seen probably since the like of a Heinrich Brousseau back in 2009, 10, 11. Cameron Hanekom has been touted for a while. He's a classy player. Ideally at number 8, he doesn't get his start at number 8. Jasper Wiese is shoe in that position, but there's still lovely balance within that. And we've got a lock crisis, injury crisis. No Eben Etzebeth. Riley Norton gets called up. He gets injured. No Lodi Jager, no Ergius Snyman. So there's no lock on the bench. Ben Jason Dixon makes a step up to that position. Pieter-Steph du Toit is captain. So from a leadership point of view, he'll have to step up. But there's a lot of game managers and leaders within this team. And we've got a couple of exceptional players playing in their 50th test match. Damon Dylander, Cheslin Colby. They were youngsters when I was an old man at the Stormers, and congratulations to them. They're incredible players.
What a big moment. And let's talk about Damian Willemse. 8 August 2018, that is when he made his debut against Argentina. And what a performance since he's put in.
Deur Damian Willemse uit die bane gejaag van Suid-Afrika. 'n Naalbyt oorwinning.
Springbok 910 is Damian Willemse. Prior to that was Marco van Staden.
And Damian Willemse! What a moment for the 21-year-old. He has a first test try, and Leroux ghosting through the gap, and Willemse will go into the corner for yet another.
Weet nie, teruggeval weer Damian Willemse.
Gaan hy dit 2-2 maak teen Engeland? À la Janne de Beer. Ja, hy doen dit. Dis 2. Now they come back for Damien Willemse to drop the goal. And he's got it. Brilliant.
I'm just really happy to have the guys, and yeah, we can chuck the ball around and play rugby.
It's just absolute brilliance, isn't it? So many moments that we've seen Willemse in the green and gold, and just the quality that he brings onto the field for the Springboks side. Anthony, I know, even as a fellow backline player yourself, you just marvel at a career like this.
Oh, 100%. I think when you're in a team with a player like Damien Willemse, you appreciate him even more. I think he's got an unbelievable balance to his game that suits 15 perfectly. You know, you see him sub in at 10 sometimes, and I think that really suits his game. He's got the ball playing ability. He's brilliant in the air. He's got footwork that's second to only probably Cheslin Colby in the world, and so I think that suits South Africa perfectly, and he's massively deserved of his 50th cap, and hopefully many more to come, because he is a truly world-class player.
And it's just proof yet again that it's just a brilliant time in the green and gold, and also for our pocket rocket. Dynamite comes in small packages, and this is the perfect example of just that. Over to you on your 50th day, Cheslin Colby.
Also on the field to make his test debut is Cheslin Colby. Then Leonard Brown. And then the interception from Cheslin Colby, who's on his way to the try line for his first test try.
Bounces towards the front. That's one. Still going. Cheslin Colby. Cheslin Colby. South Africa for World Cup is theirs.
And on the penalty advantage, the cross kick for Cheslin Colby. Dots past his man, and in for another.
Whenever there's opportunities to get a ball, we obviously try and make the most out of that and exploit opportunities.
Cheslin Colby, the magician. What more can we say about this guy, Victor? I mean, as the chairman of the Little Men, I'm a big fan of Cheslin Colby, but he's been appreciated around the world. A wonderful guy, a real team man, and so often when the Boks are in trouble, they look to him and say, hey, Chesy, take the ball and go score for us.
Yeah, no, what a player. I mean, he's been just unbelievable for South Africa. Tonight, playing in his 50th game, what an honour for him. I thought he'll be close to 100 already. It feels like he's been there for years. But I mean, if you look for someone that needs to pull some magic, to do something special, this is the guy that will always pull it out. And I mean, he's brave. He gets in the air. He makes big hits. But the nicest thing of him is the tries that he scores.
And the footwork, Victor, some people say he can step somebody in a telephone booth. Yeah. I mean, that is, you know, so rightly summed up. But look at his footwork. You know, he breaks people's ankles. But the pace, the physique and the physicality that also in the leadership in the team these days is just magnificent.
Yeah, he's got everything. I mean, when we needed a goal kicker, he stepped up. He took that responsibility. If you need a 9, he steps in. But I mean, he's an unbelievable rugby player. I mean, those feet that he's got, how he beats people, that's what you want to do.
He just played about any position as well. You know, he's been in the lineouts, he's been on the wing, at scrummy. He just hasn't played hooker, Victor.
We can maybe try. I think he threw into a lineout the one game. So
absolutely.
He's done everything. But talk about hookers. Let's go to the scrum. We need to talk.
I mean, the box scrum, Victor, it's a powerful sight. People are scared of the box scrum. They are brutal, they are physical, they suffocate you and they strangle you.
Yes, there's been a lot of talk this week. I think England's also talked their scrum up. I mean, Thomas du Toit, one of the best players in the UK this year as well. With Oxen Chair, Malcolm Marks in the middle, this is going to be important. We need to get dominant. We want those penalties, because when you get those penalties, it's give you a free go, or gives you full possession in territory in the right areas of the field.
I mean, look at Ox. You know, let's just focus on Ox and Chair. I mean, when he goes in, Victor, he hurts people.
No, man. If you see Ox, I mean, I just think back about that World Cup against England in that semi-final. We were in trouble. The next moment, Oxenchair comes on the field. He almost picks that whole scrum of England up, put them over their locks, and no, he can be so scary in that front row.
The box scrum going forward is a thing of beauty. That's why people like Jasper Wiese, get that go forward. They really dominate. And like Coach Dan says, ons gaan hawe toe, manne. Let's go to Cooks.
Right here, I love what you say, ons gaan hawe too. I mean, big talks about the scrum, big talks about Jason Colby, but you can't talk Springboks without talking the bomb squad. And next to me is Kitty, is someone who was part of the bomb squad, originated in the bomb squad. Today is going to be massive for the bomb squad. 5 on the bench, 5-3 split. Who's going to be key for us?
Yeah, I think probably with the box going with a 5-3 split, not the normal 6-2, it's going to be quite exciting. But I think when it comes to scrum time with Gerard Steenekamp, Jan-Hendrik Wessel and Porthen coming in that last 30 minutes and trying to really turn the game around or lift the energy, that's going to be massive. So I think the other probably guy that is massive there is Andre Estra, and he probably have a lot to say about him, John. But I think just that's probably where the game is going to be won or lost. I think England's going to come with a lot of energy, a lot of focus in that first 50. But that game's going to be won or lost in that last 30 minutes.
Well, Kissy, I probably can't add a hell of a lot more than what you can, because, I mean, you've told me if you have a kid one day, his name's going to be Bomb Squad. You are part of the original Bomb Squad. You know exactly what it takes. You got it wrong, though. It's not a 5-3 split. It's a 5.5, 2.5. Andre Esterhuizen is there, the ultimate hybrid. He will have an impact in this game. What position, we've got no idea, but I think that's part of what we have to offer. It has been changed a little bit in terms of the team, but we've got a proper bomb squad today to make a difference at the end. England will have something to say about that.
I love Jean mentioning it's a 5.5. I mean, Jean could have been a hybrid if he was bigger, faster, and a little bit stronger. So Jean just missed up. But I'm going to try to turn JDB into a hybrid player, but we've got the bomb squad versus the bomb squad, and we want to see who wins.
This is the South African bomb squad making their way in through. Great to see everybody using our train system as well to get to the stadium. Looking forward to seeing all of you guys inside the stadium. And let's head over now to the head coaches, Steve Bothwick and Rassie Erasmus. Their thoughts ahead of this clash.
Stephen Bothwick, welcome to Ellis Park. A late change to your side.
Yes, well, unfortunately, late yesterday evening, George Furbank was admitted into hospital with abdominal pain. He was really well looked after and had surgery this morning on his appendix, so he was obviously ruled out of the game. Marcus Smith comes in to start at 15 and Henry Slade comes onto the bench.
Always a massive challenge here at Ellis Park, but what excites you the most about this challenge?
Yeah, it's a brilliant game to look forward to, isn't it, against the team that's been the benchmark in World Rugby for a number of years now, an iconic arena like Ellis Park. I think the players are really excited for this game.
Also a massive opportunity for England, you know, the start of a new competition. 6 Nations didn't go the way you wanted to, but certainly a chance for redemption here.
Yeah, well, I think what we do is take each game at a time, and I think here, like I say, what a challenge to look forward to. I think the players have prepared really well. We've been here in Johannesburg for 10 days now, and I think they can't wait to get out there.
All the best today.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Rassie Erasmus, another international season, but several changes to your team today.
Yeah, not changes we wanted, but yeah, Eben got a head knock Tuesday or Wednesday, I think, and we gave him time until this morning, but unfortunately he still has some symptoms.
And Sia Kolisi also?
Yeah, Sia pulled his hamstring, or hurt his hamstring at captain's practice, so this morning we wanted to check, but unfortunately, yeah, we won't take a risk with him. There's a long season still, so Peter Steff will be captain, Paul will be starting, Cameron will be starting at 7, Peter will go to 4 and he's captain, and Ben Jason on the bench.
An incredible day, some two players getting their 50th. It's also a big day for Paul de Villiers and Cameron Anakom.
Yeah, well, obviously those things are very important, but you know, it's a big one for Cameron, Paul getting his debut, and as you say, the 2 guys who get their 50th. So it's milestones for a lot of people, but the game is the most important thing. But obviously we've chatted internally about how we're going to try and make it special for them.
Looking at the game, England always a massive challenge, like any test match, but exciting time. Where do you think you guys need to get it right to get the result today?
No, yeah, watching this morning's rugby of all the Northern Southern Hemisphere, that was awesome to watch, and I must say I wasn't too excited about this whole test match format, but I'm getting really excited now. And obviously England, you know, they're one of the big test matches like New Zealand and France and everybody. You know, they're a real tier 1 nation, and although they 5 or 6 on the table, we've been there. We're under no illusions what we're getting out there today.
All the best today, Rassie.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
The thoughts then of the coaches, plenty of changes on either side, but the main thing stays the main thing. It's all about the rugby today, milestones and things aside. Also about the fans making their way in through. Looking forward to what should be another cracker between South Africa and England. Scala, final thoughts from you. Where should South Africa really dig deep against England today?
Well, it starts with physicality, and for the Boks, they started scrum time. Also, line-out will be a little bit disrupted with not playing specialist locks, or then having 4 specialist locks, which we've been blessed with so long over time. The other interesting thing is James Dolman, you know, sorry to cast the mind on the referee, but the previous time he blew a game for South Africa was the Franco Mossad red card against Italy. Watching Super Rugby, there's not such a big emphasis like there is on the Prem on mauls. There's a new interpretation on mauls and also scrum. So I think it might take a while for the Springboks to get ascendancy in the scrum, which is where it starts for the Springboks this afternoon.
Anthony, you spoke about the first 10 minutes. It has to be blitzed by both sides. Your prediction for this game, if they go well?
My prediction, I'm going to go with 27-25.
27-25?
To England,
Anthony says it's going to be tight, 27-25. Going to England. Your thoughts, hashtag SS Rugby. Let us head over to Cooks now. His team also standing by with their predictions. Cooks, your call.
Thanks, Mods. Guys, quick predictions. Kitty, what's your prediction for today?
I think it's going to be a tight starting 50, but I think the Boks by 15.
John?
Yo, I'm slashing it. Boks to win by 8 points.
I'm with the guys. I'm going Boks by 10 points. Brady, Victor, what you guys got?
Tight up here, but quite expensive downstairs. Let's head over now. We are standing by. Our team is ready for this one. We hope you're ready for this one as well. Bring your brides a little closer, your snacks a little closer. It's chapter 48, South Africa up against England. This crowd is standing by and ready for it. The Brandewijn and Coke is flowing, and so are the headscarves. Cold day in Joburg, but I tell you what, this rugby is going to keep us nice and warm. First half coming up.
North meets south. The collision begins. 12 nations, one seismic competition where hemispheres collide. The Nations Championship 2026, only on the World of Champions. Because this is how we rugby. Proudly sponsored by Pick and Pay, Coca-Cola, and FNB.
Pressure, strength, durability, performance.
Some help? And now, we work on another one.
Binding together the right ingredients for performance under pressure. AfriSam, official sponsor to the Springboks.
Forgot the firelighters or the ice? Just get it delivered. Shop like a champion on Pick and Pay ASAP. Proud retail sponsors of the Springboks.
The Hyundai Tucson, now available from only $5,899 per month with a 15% deposit. And now, stand a chance to watch rugby's greatest rivalry with John Smith and a mystery box at your home. Book a service online to enter. T's and C's apply.
Crazy, I couldn't believe it.
Hello?
Hello, what's up? This is Rassi. You won the competition.
I'm calling you up to be a bock of Coca-Cola.
This is our new friend.
I think we should call him Shorty.
Shorty? No, but... Sterry.
Whoa, he's in my notes. Cheers, Iceman.
Iceman. Iceman.
Buy, scan, enter, and you could win a call-up to be a Bok with Coca-Cola.
Hey. Hey, Yaku. Hello, sir. You've had a major premium drop. 282 Rand. I bought a new car and your OutSurance contacted me with other insurance companies.
So you dropped those other offers and you picked the fresh deal from
OutSurance. It was a no-brainer.
Insurance, it's a no-brainer. What do you say to all the people out there?
OutSurance is the green saving machine. If you want the best, you go to OutSurance.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands.
The man in charge of this test match battle in Johannesburg is James Dolman. The 35-year-old New Zealander, who first came to prominence when he officiated the World Rugby Under-20 Championship final in 2019, will be assisted by Ireland's Andrew Brace and Frenchman Pierre Brousset, while another Kiwi, Richard Kelly, is the TMO.
Round one of the inaugural Nations Championship. Some fantastic rugby played already today across the championship, and we welcome you to Ellis Park in Johannesburg for South Africa against England. The 48th meeting between these two countries, and what a way to close out round one of this championship. South Africa on a 3-match winning streak against the English. The last time they met was at Twickenham at the back end of 2024. The Springboks victorious by 29 points to 20 on that occasion. The last time they met here at Ellis Park was back in 2018, the first time that Siya Kolisi captained South Africa. And the Springboks came back from a 21-point deficit to end that game victorious by 42 points to 39. England's last win in South Africa came in the last test of a 3-match series in 2018. That match down at Newlands in Cape Town. Their only win here at Ellis Park in Johannesburg against the Springboks came all the way back in 1972. Wonderful atmosphere despite some empty spaces in the stadium. It is filling up as kickoff approaches, and some big changes needing to be made to the Springbok side. Also a late withdrawal from the England side. George Furbank, originally named at fullback, was taken to hospital yesterday with appendicitis, and we wish him well. He's being well looked after, but his place in the starting lineup taken by Marcus Smith, who will start in the number 15 jersey, with Henry Slade moving on to the bench for Steve Borthwick's side. But for South Africa, two massive losses. Siya Kolisi himself strained a hamstring during the captain's run here at Ellis Park yesterday, and his place in the number 6 jersey taken by debutant Paul de Villiers. Evan Etzebeth also being forced to withdraw, so Peter Steph Toy moving into the second row, his place in the number 7 jersey taken by Cameron Hanekom. So Hanekom off the bench, and his place there wearing jersey number 20 will be Ben Jason Dixon. So a lot for the Springbok coaching staff to deal with at the last minute. Almost 250 test caps lost through Etzebeth and Kolisi, and their replacements in the starting lineup. 1 cap for Cameron Hanekom and Paul de Villiers on debut. Massive opportunity for those two. Jamie George, 35 years of age, leads England on to Ellis Park for his 111th test match, his 14th as captain of England in the absence of Maro Itoje. An astonishing 251 matches for his club side, Saracens. An England debut all the way back in 2015. And spoke with great pride during the week about this opportunity to lead his team onto Ellis Park. And there's been a lot of talk about that young man during the build-up to this test match. Henry Pollock squares up to the Springboks for the first time. On the bench, the 21-year-old in a 6-2 split in favour of the forwards, preferred by head coach Steve Borthwick. An experienced back row in Ben Earl, Tom Curry and Ollie Chesham. And Henry Pollock and Guy Pepper will be looking to add impetus to their effort during the second half. It's time for the traditional Springbok welcome. The Impi are here. Well, the English squad looking fairly nonplussed by the antics of the Impi, but what a moment for both Damian Willemse and Cheslin Colby, leading the Springboks out onto Ellis Park on the occasion of their 50th Test caps. Damian Willemse with a debut against Argentina back in 2018. Got his first start in Test rugby against England at Twickenham in the same year. And for Cheslin Colby, the man so many said was too small to play Test rugby, a debut against Australia in Brisbane in 2018, got his first Test try in Wellington against the All Blacks a week later. 2 tries against England the last time they met in 2024, and of course that magical try in the final of Rugby World Cup in Japan in 2019. Peter Steph du Toit, a change of jersey and a change of role. The third time that he is captaining his country in the injury-enforced absence of Siya Kolisi, the 2-time World Rugby Player of the Year, winning his 96th cap this afternoon, and Paul de Villiers of the Stormers. Such an influence during the United Rugby Championship on the side of the scrum, from outside the originally named 23 to a Test debut. So time for the national anthems.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are willing and able, please be upstanding for the singing of the English national anthem, sung today by Thabiso Masemene.
King, long live honorable King, God save the King, sending victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the King.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the singing of the South African national anthem, which will be sung by every single one of you and Jodie Fredericks.
Special moments indeed as we stand on the cusp of kickoff in the 48th International between South Africa and England. Some visible emotion on the face of Damian Willemse. He and Cheslin Colby, two-time Rugby World Cup champions, and this is how England will line up with Steve Borthwick going to Marcus Smith at fullback in the injury-enforced absence of George Furbank and Tommy Freeman in the midfield. Jamie George captaining with Ellis Genge and Joe Hayes either side. Coles and Martin, a formidable second-row combination. Van Poortvliet preferred to Alex Mitchell as the scrum half with Finn Smith at 10. And a 6-2 split in favour of the forwards on the bench. For South Africa, a late rejig for Rassie Erasmus. He's gone for a 5-3 split on the bench, or is it 6-2 with Andre Esterhuizen there? Malcolm Marx, Oxenchair and Thomas Tutoy outstanding. Pieter-Steph Tutoy moves to the number 4 jersey alongside Ruan Nokia in the second row. A debut for Paul de Villiers, a second test cap for Cameron Hanekom, and a big responsibility on the broad shoulders of Jasper Visser at 8. Damien Derlendi and Jesse Creel, the most capped centre pairing in Springbok history. Grant Williams and Marnie Livok are the halfbacks, and a late inclusion on the bench for Ben Jason Dixon. Still people getting to their seats for this massive encounter. James Dolman of New Zealand is the referee. Richard Kelly, his fellow countryman, the television match official. Andrew Brace of Ireland and Pierre Brousset of France on the sidelines. And Marnie Livok in his third start against England. Also one appearance off the bench. Has ball in hand, back from his stint in Japan, playing his club rugby there, to wear the number 10 jersey here in Johannesburg this evening. And the 48th test match between South Africa and England underway. Wonderful kick chase from Kurtley Arendse to put pressure on England. Strong carry early from George Martin.